Greetings, and welcome back to Wolf Uncaged. Today we're diving deep into a profound passage from The Nature of Personal Reality by Jane Roberts as channeled through Seth, specifically Chapter 3 in our Part 13. Suggestion, Telepathy, and the Grouping of Beliefs. This isn't just theory. This is about why your money, your struggles, your relationships, your emotions, your whole world is shaped by thoughts you didn't even know you had. Let's start here. Ideas have electromagnetic reality. That's not just poetry. That's metaphysical physics. You see, every idea you hold, especially the ones charged with emotion, they all radiate energy. These beliefs don't just float randomly. They gather into clusters like magnets pulling on other similar beliefs into orbit. Let me give you a quick story. Imagine a man named Darren. Darren grew up in a household where his parents constantly said, "We can't afford that. We can't afford this." Even as an adult, Darren makes good money, but every time he tries to invest, expand, or dream big, something inside of him whispers, "You're not that kind of person." That whisper? It's not reality. It's a belief gathered years ago that now acts like a gravitational center, pulling in financial struggle, pulling in self-doubt, pulling in hesitation. Darren's life doesn't reflect who he is, it reflects what he believes. Now, Seth breaks down the ego in a beautiful way. It's not your enemy, it's not separate from your true self. The ego is the part of you that's sitting on the windowsill, looking out at the physical world while still connected to the inner world. But here's the trick. The ego, it wants stability. The ego wants to focus on a consistent view of reality so it can navigate life efficiently. That's why it accepts beliefs that feel familiar, even if they're harmful. Imagine your ego as a movie projector. If it believes the world is hostile, it's going to light up scenes that reinforce that. Every insult, every failure, every letdown. But here's the empowering part. Just like a projector, the ego can be adjusted. And the film, that's your beliefs. Let's talk about the invisible trap. Now, here's where it gets wild. Seth says we often believe our beliefs are reality. Let's take someone named Maria. Maria says, "I'm too sensitive. That's just how I am." But that's not a fact. That's a belief. One she feels is true because she lived through it for so long. Now let's take this a step deeper. Maria starts to admire her sensitivity. She says, "I'm proud of being this way. It makes me more spiritual than others." Sounds noble, right? But this too can be a limiting belief. If she clings to it, she may begin avoiding connection. She may begin avoiding responsibility or leadership because she fears her sensitivity makes her unfit for challenge. This is what Seth means when he says beliefs can become transparent. You look right through them and you think you're seeing reality. Let's talk about the mind's treasure chest. Here's where the gold is. Seth tells us if you examine the contents of your conscious mind, you'll find treasures you've overlooked. He's not talking about deep, dark, repressed memories buried in the unconscious. No, he's saying your current, everyday thoughts hold the blueprint to your life. Think of it like a junk drawer in your kitchen. You open it and it looks like chaos. But dig for a few minutes and you find there's a spare key you've been searching for. The thoughts you hear yourself saying, "I never have enough time. Nobody understands me. I always mess things up." These are the codes. They're showing you what you believe, and once seen, they can be reprogrammed. Now let's talk about telepathy, because Seth doesn't just stop with individual thought. He says, because beliefs radiate energy, you are constantly sending and receiving messages from others, not just with words, but telepathically. So, if you believe the world is unsafe, your radar is tuned to pick up threats. If you believe success is reserved for others, you'll ignore the inspiration that could lead to your breakthrough. Just like your favorite Spotify playlist, it plays what you expect to hear. If you want a new song, you have to change the playlist. So here's the deeper lesson. Your ego, it's not your enemy. It's your lens. Your thoughts aren't just fleeting. They're energetic builders. And your beliefs aren't always obvious, but they are always active. You are not trapped by your past. You're only trapped by what you still believe. And the key? Awareness. Pay attention to the thoughts that feel normal. Question the ones that defend your limits, and trust that once you see them, you can change them. Because if you can believe differently, you can live differently. I am Tony Victory, and this was A Wolf Uncaged. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until the next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Peace.